Guess what? I produce my own show. Jay Weinstein here. We can listen to what we really, really want. Set your dial to 106.1 and 1340 on the AM, WTAN, and we've got you covered 2 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. Got a great show looking for you, Hot Jazz Financial. We're going to be talking about some super powerful retirement planning tips. This is not investment advice, but we're going to talk about strategies to make sure you can retire and retire strong.
Are you a writer, inventor? Do you have questions about your intellectual property rights? Well, tune in every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 11 o'clock for Joy on Paper. Once a month, I will have a special guest, the writer's legal eagle, Bill Larson of Larson & Larson, who can answer your questions. Protect your valuable work. Email me your questions to patsy.radio@gmail.com and then listen in every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. right here on Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network. That's patsy.radio@gmail.com.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
It's time for the Kelly Show. Kelly is an award-winning photographer and the owner of the website iloveclearwater.com. Doug is the author of 4 published books and a contributing editor for Florida Sportsman magazine. And now, here they are.
Yes, we are here with the lovely Big Ed Davis, also here with us, the executive producer of the Tan Talk Radio Network. And, it's too bad that the nice...
Who am I?
Oh, I'm sorry. My wife and co-host. Are you here too? She's only been here 7 years, and I didn't bring her up. My wife and co-host Kelly. Of course, Ed mentioned you in the intro, but and we have a couple of great guests today. And the first one is a veterinarian. We're going to learn a lot of interesting things you may not know about your cat and dog. And then we have a state representative who's going to be on the show, talk about some of the things coming up in legislative wise that might affect our pocketbooks. Who knows? Mm-hmm. And Ed, we just had a draft that ended last week.
Yep.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they look like from all the grades that they've been handing out, A, B, C, D, or Fs, they've been getting A's from most of the pundits.
Yeah, well, they kind of went the safe route, and what they needed, and happened to hit on it because the guy that they kind of wanted was there, and that always works out.
Yeah, sure does.
You get a grade A when it works out. So
yeah, they got a fella from Duke University who played, I think, left tackle, but they want him at center.
Yeah,
and he's supposed to be a real wunderkind, extremely capable, and maybe a little bit short reach, I think they said. And it's important how long your arms are when you're a lineman, because you reach and grab people and toss them and et cetera, et cetera. But I guess he makes up for it in other ways.
He's a bit of a scrapper.
Yeah. And that's so key. I was listening to the fellow who does the scouting or in charge of their scouting department, and he said that they look for people who can not just be tough and energetic in the first quarter or second quarter or third. He wants them to be that way from the beginning of the kickoff until the end, because it wears down the other team. Even if they put in substitutes, you get a guy like that center from Rutgers, and from Duke. I can't remember his name, but he doesn't quit. And I guess the opposing defensive lineman gets sick and tired of him just bashing into him time after time after time.
Yep.
And, you got a 320-pound guy hitting on you.
Yeah.
Now, that's not fun.
Usually when you forget somebody's name, I pop up.
Not this case.
Not with football.
Yeah. How about the Rays? The Rays were on a pretty good winning streak, and then they sort of went south.
And then they went on a winning streak.
North again, yeah.
Yeah, so they beat the New York Mets 3 out of 3 games.
Yeah.
So anytime we send people from New York home with a frown on their face, that's a good day.
That's for sure. It was really nice, nippy weather up until about 2 weeks ago. And geez, now I walk the dog at 5 o'clock and I'm dripping wet.
I'm telling him that, 89 degrees is not bad. You got about 10 more degrees coming.
I don't know about that.
Absolutely right.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Then again, I lived in Cheyenne, Wyoming, where sometimes the snow drifts are so high, we had to climb out the other side of the house to get outside. Literally, it was up against the door on one side of the house so high we couldn't open the door.
Oh, wow.
So we had to open windows on the other side and climb out place. So, when you look at all things, I hate blizzards. I hate icy roads so much, and having to clean up, and then the slush, and I'll take the heat down here.
Yes.
I'll take the bad with the good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'll suffer through the humidity and whatnot.
Yeah. By the way, we're coming to you from the emerald and studded, diamond and ruby studded studio here in Clearwater, Florida, WTAN, and also our sister radio station in Zephyrhills.
Dade City.
Dade City. Yeah, we had Zephyrhills. Now we're just Dade City with us. And that's a pretty good spread.
Yeah, it is.
And what else? Who else are we coming out?
Well, does it still cover 4 counties, Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are those counties?
Well, we know
Pinellas, Hillsborough, Pasco, Pinellas,
Manatee.
Pasco, and Manatee.
Okay.
And
Well, I know we know. I'm asking him.
that. Okay. What are you talking about? He's been there 50,000 years.
All right.
Yeah, already.
So what now?
Well, we're also, on Facebook Live.
Yep. And we're on YouTube Live.
YouTube.
Yep.
And at Tan Talk Radio, in case you can't find
Tan
it.
Talk Network.
Facebook is The
Yeah.
Kelly Kelly Show. And we're also podcast at internetradiopros.com.
Yeah. Just go to that, internetradiopros.com,
That's
and look for our link. And this way people who no longer live in the area can stay in touch with what's going on in Tampa Bay. So that's always fun.
Uh-huh.
And last but not least, I know Ed is very much in favor of getting a professional basketball team here in this area. I just heard him go,
I think that's a good idea.
Ed doesn't like it. I mean, Orlando's
Why
got
is
one.
that not a good idea?
Orlando.
Because it takes the dollars away from the teams that are here.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
I don't know.
Or you just don't like basketball.
I don't think there's enough people in the area, to tell you the truth.
You may be right. I mean,
support it.
Miami's different because it's got.
And then where do you put
6
it again?
million
Where do you
people.
put it? Do you put it in Tampa? You put it in St. Pete? What?
You put the team in Chamberlain High School in Tampa.
The Lightning do well because they have a history,
They have a rink.
you know, and the Bucks are getting there and they're up and down. They're up, and the Rays are still struggling a bit. But
Yeah.
I mean, people don't realize, with going to the grocery store and stuff, it's hard to plop down $100 for a weekend at the ball game. It's $20. Family of 4 is $20 just for the tickets each. Then you got parking. You got those $9 hot dogs.
$9.
Well,
You
pretty
get the
close.
cheap ones, huh?
If you want ketchup and mustard, it's $9.
Wow.
Well, listen, and you're right. Not everybody is in the radio business who can afford things like that. So, yeah. Well, listen, we're about to take our first radio.
Yeah, but I have a
Break?
trivia question.
You have a
I
trivia?
do.
Okay.
Which mammal has the most teeth?
Huh.
I'm not giving you any
Okay.
A, B, C, or D.
We'll know the answer right after this.
Yeah.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
In 1955, the law firm now known as Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes made a decision. Instead of taking whatever cases came through their doors, they decided to focus specifically on personal injury. 64 years later, the law firm is one of Clearwater's longest-running personal injury firms. Available 24 hours a day with offices in Clearwater and throughout Tampa Bay, they're ready to put decades of experience to work for you if you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or injured due to someone's negligence or recklessness. If you feel overwhelmed, uncertain, or unsure about your next steps after being involved in an accident or after a loved one sustained serious injuries due to someone else's negligence, call Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes at 727-796-8282 or online at usalaw.com. That's 727-796-8282 or online at usalaw.com. Non-attorney spokesman.
Shop the largest selection of Guy Harvey apparel, artwork, and gift items at GuyHarvey.com. From the world-renowned marine wildlife artist, the Guy Harvey online shop features the latest in performance apparel, classic Guy Harvey t-shirts, decor for every room in your home, exquisite ocean-inspired jewelry, and unique gift items, including custom merchandise not available anyplace else. Browse an extensive catalog of original Guy Harvey works of art and a full range of beautiful reproductions. As with all Guy Harvey merchandise, a percentage of sales benefits the ocean conservation, research, and education work of the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation. The Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation will help ensure that future generations can enjoy and benefit from a well-balanced ocean ecosystem. Bring the undersea world into your everyday life at GuyHarvey.com.
Just about everyone is fascinated by the mafia. Books and movies like The Godfather, Goodfellas, Casino, and many others became bestsellers and box office hits. Did you know that a century ago, mobsters like Al Capone discovered Florida's tropical climate and sparse law enforcement? Mafia bosses from around the nation began setting up illegal operations in Florida. Now, for the first time, a new book titled Sunshine State Mafia, A History of Florida's Mobsters, Hitmen, and Wise Guys, provides vivid stories and never-before-seen images of dangerous criminals who settled in Florida full or part-time. Written by renowned author Doug Kelly, Sunshine State Mafia exposes the hidden history of the mob throughout the state and includes Doug's own brushes with crime figures. Sunshine State Mafia is available at all major book retailers, or obtain a signed copy by calling 727-724-4949 or email sunshinestatemafia@gmail.com.
These days, amidst supply chain issues, staffing crises, and rising energy bills, it's not easy to be a successful entrepreneur in Clearwater. For many, financial fears have led to sleepless nights. On top of that, many more have employees and customers that they're trying to protect and reassure. A monumental task when they themselves are struggling with burnout. We're all experiencing a lot of intense emotions. So where can you find safe harbor? At Amplify Clearwater. Amplify Clearwater is your Chamber of Commerce, and the name says it all. To make Clearwater larger, greater, stronger. Here you'll find like-minded members who are seeking opportunities to learn from each other, to collaborate, network, support, and do business together. Every business owner's goal in 2022 is to grow their business. If you need help, your friends at Amplify Clearwater are here for you. Submit your application today at amplifyclearwater.com/join.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Well, thanks a lot for being with us today on the Kelly Kelly Show. I'm Doug Kelly with my better 7/8, Kelly, and Big Ed Davis in the control room. And Kelly, let's introduce our first guest. But first, we did a trivia question.
We did do a trivia question.
And let's see what that's about.
We wanted to know which mammal has the most teeth. Mm-hmm. And we were talking here in the studio, guessing whale, which is a good guess. Mm-hmm. But it is actually the giant armadillo. Isn't that odd?
I didn't even know they had teeth.
And it's in South America.
Huh,
darn. You should have known that.
I know that.
Yeah, you did know that. That's cool.
Okay.
Well, you would, because this is our first guest.
Our first guest is Dr. Viviana Zuluaga Ramirez. And she's originally from Colombia, where she earned her doctorate in veterinary medicine from Universidad de Caldas. Did I?
Well done.
Okay, well, she can repeat it.
There you go.
And she moved to the United States in 2010, where she worked as a postdoctoral fellow at Temple University in Philadelphia.
That's right. Relocated to Florida in 2021 and happens to be our veterinarian for our dog, Amber, who is a pit bull.
Yep.
And we love her to death, and she's a sweetie pie. And we asked Doctor if she'd come on the show, and here she is. We're going to have a pretty interesting discussion about this.
Absolutely. So Dr. Viviana, she works at Animal Healthcare Clinic in Clearwater. That's on Drew Street, just west of Belcher. Mm-hmm. So yellow building, very easy to find. Okay.
Oops.
So, Dr. Viviana, you speak Spanish.
I do speak Spanish.
Why is that important?
Well, one of the biggest things that I do for the community, especially for any Hispanic people that live in the area, is that it's not that easy to communicate your concerns, medical concerns about your animal in English, because your medical language, let's say, it's not something you use in your common life.
I'm sure.
So they basically come to me because they feel very comfortable.
Sure.
Discussing all of these things about their animals, their concerns, what is it that is happening. And usually one of the things that happens is that they feel relief that they're going to be understanding what the doctor wants them to do.
Right.
What is it that is happening with their pets? And I think that's a huge contribution, especially because here in Florida, you guys know, we have a good amount of Spanish speakers, though.
Sure.
Yeah,
In
it's
Clearwater, yeah.
in
Tampa Bay, yeah.
correct.
So,
Yeah.
so the dogs and cats understand Spanish as well.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I have plenty of animals that come to the office, and then you're saying hi, buddy, or whatever, but then you change into chiquito, lindo, and they start to move their tails and all, because they are more used to their families talking to them in Spanish, so they get more comfortable once they learn that, oh, this one person does speak my language too. I'm sorry. Yep.
So you spend a lot of time with each people who come in with their animals, at least if they need it.
Yes, that's correct.
And I know we've come in and you sat on the floor with Amber, our dog, and if she needed to be there 10 minutes or 15 or 8, or that's what you did.
Yep.
She doesn't like pets, so you were the best at making her comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I guess that's the first thing, right, is calm the animal down a little bit.
That's exactly right. One of the things that, at least for me, is very important to practice something that is called fear-free approach to the animals. I am fear-free certified. So one of the first things that you do with them is you go down to their level so they don't see this ginormous person trying to reach at them, but you sit on their level, you let them come to you, you don't force them to do certain things. You kind of invite them to do certain things with you. You invite them to let you do the exam, to let you take a look at what things are happening to them. And that helps tremendously, because the more comfortable they are when they come to see their vet, the better approaches we have for them, the better examinations we have for them. So we can actually take a deep look and make sure that we are actively giving owners a good clean bill of health, versus an animal that you cannot approach, is too scared or is too afraid to get to you. You can miss a lot of things because you cannot engage with that animal as well.
That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Now, we have been to vets in the area that are extremely expensive. So what I also like about Animal Healthcare Clinic is they're reasonably priced.
Yeah, it's fair.
So
It's to be fair.
they're
Absolutely.
fair priced. So.
Now, let's say somebody, you've had some experiences. Let's say a dog is very sick, has heartworm.
Yep.
Have you had that situation and brought them back to good health?
Yeah, that's something that, unfortunately, for me, it's unfortunate. It's because you can prevent it. And because of lack of prevention, that's why you get the disease. There's other instances where this poor animal is being abandoned, and that's how they got the disease, though. However, when we had those cases, which, by the way, they happen pretty often, we get at least 2 to 3 cases a month of heartworms that we have to treat. Yeah. And it's a very long treatment. It's very invasive to the animal. And there's chances that they can actually succumb to disease because of the load of the worms that they can have on the heart. However, though, it is very complicated. However, though, we have plenty of cases where we have given the treatment that they need. We have done everything that we are supposed to be doing because there's a very strict protocol about it. And we have had a lot of those animals actually being clean after a good amount of time for the disease. Those owners obviously learn their lessons, or if it was a rescue, they actually care for this animal and give them preventions that they need.
Okay. How can you tell maybe if your dog has heartworm?
One of the most interesting parts of this is that you can get a blood test done to begin with. That's the easiest way. But if you have never had your animal on prevention, you have never had your animal seen to a vet clinic, you have this super young animal just having a very little, tiny, nothing cough. They're sitting there doing nothing. They out of the nowhere, they just do, and that's it.
Oh,
that's it. And that's actually what we call the chief complaint. They bring to the animal. It's a 3-year-old. I don't know why is it coughing. And yet you look at the animal, nothing from the outside, and the dog just look at you and they just do, and that's it.
Wow.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then you do the blood test, and that's how you actually find out about the disease.
Do you do any operating, or is that something for a different specialty?
Well, heartworms are basically you're treating them with just an injection, actually
Right.
a couple of injections. That's how you kill the worms.
Right.
And you have to actually do a pre-treatment to make the worms sensitive to the injections that you're giving them.
But I mean, if they need to be operated on to remove a tumor or something.
Oh, yeah, we do that.
You do
We
that
do
also?
that in the clinic. Yeah, it depends on the level of the intervention. We either take it in or we actually send it to a specialist, but it will depend on what we're doing. But we do
And
a lot of.
you spay and neuter animals.
We do a lot of space. We do a lot of neuters. We sometimes work with rescue organizations, and they bring these stray animals that they need to be spayed, neutered. We have found plenty of stray animals with broken legs, eyes that need to be removed
Oh, boy.
because these animals are feral. So they
Yeah.
have no care, and they had all of these injuries, and we have to care for them. And sometimes we
Yeah.
ended up having to do some limb amputations,
Oh,
eye
boy.
removals, and things like that. We do all of that in the clinic.
Okay, so what happens to those stray animals after you care for them?
Usually it depends. So
Okay.
it depends on the rescue group. There's some rescue groups that are adamant to find a home for them. There's some other animals that they are already too old to be actually adopted. And when I'm saying that is they're so feral, they have not been socialized ever.
Oh,
So we give them the treatments that we can, and we try to care for them as much as we can, but then sometimes need to be released because of the stress of just being
Yeah,
held captive.
sure.
If that makes some sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
Wow.
Now, you told
that's-
us something interesting, and I didn't know this at all. You said that rats actually laugh.
Yes, that's correct. There is a paper, that is a published scientific paper that they prove that you can actually tickle rats and they laugh.
I'll be darned.
And
Yeah.
they're smart.
They're super smart and they make great pets.
Yeah.
Like people don't know that, but they're awesome pets. They're super loving. They cuddle with people. They learn tricks. It's amazing.
And they're really not that dirty as an animal.
No, they're actually not. You just need to make sure that their enclosure is actually clean at
Yeah,
least
of course.
once or twice a day, depending on the size of the rat.
Yeah.
Give them the food that they need. They work for treats. They do tricks for you.
Oh, my God.
Yes, they do tricks for
That
you.
is-
It's super interesting. The only downside of having a rat as a pet is that they live too short. It's the average age for a rat is about 2 years.
Oh, my gosh.
They
Yeah.
live
Wow.
too short.
I
Yeah.
don't think I could go through that. Knowing how
Yeah.
emotionally attached I get to the dog.
Yep.
We had a pet. Matter of fact, another pit. She died after 8 years.
That's another
and that hurts.
experience that we took Coco into animal health care clinic. You know, she had a tumor. It couldn't
All
be
over her body.
operated on.
Yep.
But they
Yeah.
gave us a special room to spend time with her last moments.
Yeah.
And
We were
now
sobbing.
I'm starting to cry.
I know.
We
That
were
it's a very
sobbing.
sensitive time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we at the clinic understand that because we're not dealing with just a cat or a dog. We are dealing with a member of the family.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
It's
right.
a member of the family.
Yeah.
And every time I had to do this for an owner, which is like a very euthanasias have to be taken as an act of love.
Yeah.
It's not that you're taking
Instead
the
of-
life of your animal. It's
Right.
your animal's in suffering, is
Yeah.
in pain, may not have any treatment that will solve the problem that they're having. Sometimes you need to let them go. And for owners to get to the idea that I'm not killing my animal, I'm giving my animal all what I can. I did everything I could. And what I'm doing is actually being as selfless as I can by letting them go. It's an act of love. That's it.
Can you bring a wife in who's really been bad and bad behavior and everything and do the same thing? Have
Oh,
her-
dog, for
I'm-
crying
I'm
out
just-
loud. But
Sorry
but,
about that.
you know, what happens if an animal doesn't have its owner there in its last moments?
It depends. Usually, my approach, and it depends on the doctor that has to go on with the procedure. For me, I tell owners, and I understand the fact that it's very hard to see your animal lifeless. I get that.
Yeah.
But I tell them, because the procedure actually has 2 steps. The first step is a deep sedation that we do,
Yes.
like very, very deep sedation. Is almost anesthetic type
Yeah.
of sedation.
Mhm.
And then we proceed with the secondary method that actually
Stops the heart.
stops the heart and the
Yeah.
breathing.
Yeah.
So I tell owners, listen, I'm not their family.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did not live with me. They don't
Yeah.
want to be the last moments in my arms. They want to be with you.
Yeah.
So I tell them, go ahead, let me do the sedation, stay with them until they don't know what's happening,
Yeah.
until they lose consciousness. Once they lose consciousness, I'll take care of it. I'll deal with it. but stay with your pet until your pet it's no longer
Understood.
mentally there. Because I feel it will be very difficult for that pet on their last moments of their life,
Of course.
not to be able to be with their loved ones.
This, by the way, is the first time I ever cried on the radio show in 7 years.
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah, I
sorry.
imagine that.
I know. Remember you, baby. It's
Yeah.
always hard.
Well, you know, there's so much out there about pit bulls.
Yep.
And unfortunately, whenever you hear about some poor granny having 2 or 3 pit bulls attack her on a corner and kill her, everyone thinks it's pit bulls.
It's a
Pit
pit
bulls.
bull,
You got to
yeah.
kill, get rid. There's even associations, homeowner associations, won't allow them.
Yep. That's
Right.
correct.
And I've owned all kinds of breeds over many years. I mean, all kinds. I've had Cocker Spaniels and Collies and Irish Setters and Labs, on and on over the years. And first time I'd ever had a pit was, we weren't living together at the time. We were just starting
Dating,
to,
yeah.
dating. And she said her son brought home a pit bull puppy. I went nuts. Get rid of the dog. Don't get attached to it. Well, guess what? I move in. You couldn't separate me from that dog with a crowbar.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
I
a
mean,
very special bond.
It was
Yep.
a soulful bond.
Yep. Yep.
And we just loved each other. She loved us. She loves people.
Yep.
And same with Amber.
Yep.
Same thing.
Oh,
It's,
Amber is a sweet pie.
yeah. Yeah. And I hate it. It's tough when I'm walking Amber and somebody sees her and walks on the other side of the road.
They have a fear space.
Yes. Yeah.
And they were attached to very bad marketing, I would say.
Yeah.
People need to understand that animals are aggressive or they have all of these behavioral things is most likely because of their own fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
plenty of owners that they don't realize that your animal is showing some aggression or some anxiousness, any of these behaviors at a very young age, and they refuse to see it. And then they ended up with an animal that is actually a problem.
Yeah.
And then those animals actually pay the price. But if you listen to your vet when we are telling you your dog is anxious, you need to take it to training, or
Yeah.
you need to socialize your animal a little bit more. You
Yeah.
need to do all of these things. People think that we are just saying this for just like a playing a record,
right.
like just like the same speech for everybody. No, we are not. We do individually assess every animal that we see, and if this is an animal that is showing us signs that it's needing the
Aggressiveness.
treatment,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
needing this help.
Yeah.
That's when we express it out, and then we will be able to help them
Now,
before it's a problem.
What types of animals do you treat? Cats, dogs, and other animals, or just principally
This is
that?
exactly what we are doing right now in the animal health care clinic. Is just animals, cats and dogs.
Yeah.
However, like one thing funny about me is I used to be a large animal vet. I used to work with horses and
Oh,
cows
really?
and
Oh.
sheep and all of these wonderful creatures. Which, by the way, if you have never had the chance to interact with a horse, horses are like dogs.
Yeah, really.
They attach to their person. They are as funny as you cannot imagine. They're just like at least 1,000 times bigger than a dog.
Yeah.
But they're pretty nice animals. Cows are super smart,
Yeah.
very, very smart animals. When I was growing up, I used to have one. Her name was Josefa. And Josefa used to go, and we had a farm in my country. We used to just take her over to the mango tree, and I was just messing with her, giving her the green mangoes.
Oh.
And she, when she started to try to chew on the green mango, she noticed that it was a green mango,
Yeah.
which is
She
obviously
spit it out.
bitter
Yeah.
or just acid, and she'll spit it out and she will hit me like, no, this is not the mango I want. But she
That's
was
cool.
a very neat cow.
That's wonderful.
One last thing, we asked you to think of like a good story.
Yep.
So let's
Yep.
hear that great story.
Yeah, we have a great story. We work, as I was mentioning offline, that we worked with some rescue groups. We had one of these animals that came through our rescue. Maybe some people heard the news. There was an animal shot with an arrow. It was a
Oh.
cat in St. Petersburg. That
I
animal
remember that.
actually got to our care. We thought he was not making it. Like, we all thought, like, oh my God, this animal is not gonna make it. That arrow went through all the skin though, but it was like no internal organs were damaged.
Oh,
but
boy.
this animal had this arrow all the way through the whole body.
No
Oh,
kidding.
wow.
We were super concerned. We did a huge surgery in this poor soul, took it out, a lot of infection. 2 days later, it was almost lifeless, but never stopped purring.
Oh,
Believe it or not, the cat never stopped purring, and we were, oh my God, what we are going to do? We did all of these fluids, care. nasogastric tube so we can feed him. All of this care. Obviously, the rescue group, when they take it to the home, did a lot. He survived. He got adopted.
That's
Isn't that
incredible.
wonderful? That's fantastic. Now, where are you located again? What's your address and what's your contact info?
So I am located in the Animal Haircare Clinic.
Okay.
This is in 2118 Drew Street,
Okay.
Clearwater.
Okay.
The phone number I cannot remember right now. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, the only other thing, I'm taking the time that I'm here. 4th of July is coming. If you love your pets, by all means, please, please, please reach out to your vet, get your animals microchip, and think about some medications to help them with the stress of the loud noises. The amount of
For July
animals.
4th.
Yes. Oh, July 4th. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is amazing the amount of animals that get lost in July 4th.
They get scared and run away.
They scare and run away. And and people think that, oh no, I just keep it in the room or whatever. It's no life to be living if you're so scared to be around. So there's some medications we can help them with, but most than anything else, get your animal microchip, because if he runs away, you will be connected to your animal. Remember to register the microchip with your information, though.
Right.
And then you will get your animal.
Okay.
We had plenty of animals coming that they were running around. Last week we had one. They were moving. We had a microchip. We got that reunited with their
That's
family.
wonderful.
Okay, let me
All
just
right.
reiterate that if you get a microchip for your pet,
Yeah.
you need to register
Yeah,
it.
exactly, exactly.
Otherwise, it's no good.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Viviana Zuluaga Ramirez.
You did it perfect.
All right,
Oh.
from
I should have had you do
Universidad
it.
de Caldas, where you got your doctorate. That's wonderful. And thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Do you want to give a shout out to your husband and daughter?
Absolutely. Alexandra, Alexis, I love you guys. And we love Stella. Stella's our pet.
Very
It's
nice.
a little cat. My daughter prefers cats over dogs.
Okay.
So there
There
it
we
is.
go.
Estelita, you're the love of our lives. Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
Thank you
Dr.
very much.
Viviana.
All right, you have another trivia question for us before you go to the break.
Oh, I do. Okay, let me find it. What animals have no teeth?
Huh.
Huh.
Oh,
You
there's a
have a
lot of
guess?
animals. Well, birds.
What? No. Oh, mammals.
Oh,
What
mammals.
mammals. I'm
mammals
sorry.
have no
Yeah.
teeth.
What mammals have no teeth?
Okay.
Okay.
Probably me in another few years.
Probably so.
All right, we'll be back then right after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
In 1955, the law firm now known as Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes made a decision. Instead of taking whatever cases came through their doors, they decided to focus specifically on personal injury. 64 years later, the law firm is one of Clearwater's longest-running personal injury firms. Available 24 hours a day with offices in Clearwater and throughout Tampa Bay, they're ready to put decades of experience to work for you if you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or injured due to someone's negligence or recklessness. If you feel overwhelmed, uncertain, or unsure about your next steps after being involved in an accident or after a loved one sustained serious injuries due to someone else's negligence, call Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes at 727-796-8282 or online at usalaw.com. That's 727-796-8282 or online at usalaw.com. Non-attorney spokesman.
Shop the largest selection of Guy Harvey apparel, artwork, and gift items at GuyHarvey.com. From the world-renowned marine wildlife artist, the Guy Harvey online shop features the latest in performance apparel, classic Guy Harvey t-shirts, decor for every room in your home, exquisite ocean-inspired jewelry, and unique gift items, including custom merchandise not available anyplace else. Browse an extensive catalog of original Guy Harvey works of art and a full range of beautiful reproductions. As with all Guy Harvey merchandise, a percentage of sales benefits the ocean conservation, research, and education work of the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation. The Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation will help ensure that future generations can enjoy and benefit from a well-balanced ocean ecosystem. Bring the undersea world into your everyday life at GuyHarvey.com.
Just about everyone is fascinated by the mafia. Books and movies like The Godfather, Goodfellas, Casino, and many others became bestsellers and box office hits. Did you know that a century ago, mobsters like Al Capone discovered Florida's tropical climate and sparse law enforcement? Mafia bosses from around the nation began setting up illegal operations in Florida. Now, for the first time, a new book titled Sunshine State Mafia, A History of Florida's Mobsters, Hitmen, and Wise Guys provides vivid stories and never-before-seen images of dangerous criminals who settled in Florida full or part-time. Written by renowned author Doug Kelly, Sunshine State Mafia exposes the hidden history of the mob throughout the state and includes Doug's own brushes with crime figures. Sunshine State Mafia is available at all major book retailers, or obtain a signed copy by calling 727-724-4949 or email sunshinestatemafia@gmail.com.
Ask any successful entrepreneur. They'll tell you that the fundamental way to grow a business is through strategic connections. Relationships drive business. Forming a solid network of reliable contacts is essential to your growth. And there's no better way to get connected in Clearwater than through membership in Amplify Clearwater, your Chamber of Commerce for Clearwater and Clearwater Beach. Amplify Clearwater is your first level of support. Membership affords you the opportunity to meet like-minded business owners you otherwise wouldn't have met. You'll be able to collaborate, network, support, bond, and do business with each other. Interested? Then visit amplifyclearwater.com. There you'll find all the information you need to make an informed decision and start the membership application process. Amplify Clearwater. One community, one chamber, one vision. Join today at amplifyclearwater.com.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
This is the Kelly Kelly Show. I'm Kelly Kelly. I'm here with Doug Kelly, my better half.
You remember my name. Thank you.
I know. What was that? Yes, and we're coming to you from the WTAN radio station in Clearwater. And before the break, I asked which mammals have no teeth. And the answers are 3: anteaters, platypus, and whales.
No, whales.
I mean,
no.
You wouldn't know. It says right here.
No teeth. Whales have teeth.
Some whales have no teeth.
Oh, okay.
Okay, some, like a baleen whale.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So.
All right. That's great. Well, listen, our second guest today is someone who's a friend of ours. She's been here before, and she's doing a lot for our community. Kim Burfield is a Republican member of the Florida House of Representatives. She represents the 58th District, and she was elected in 2022, but she previously served in the legislature from 2000 to 2006 in the 50th District. Kim, thanks for being with us again on the Kelly Kelly Show.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
How many times has it been? Is this like 3 or 4? Or?
I think this is the 3rd.
Oh,
okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Give us the, I guess you would say the size or where exactly is the 58th District?
So
boundaries.
The District 58 extends basically from the west side of McMullen Booth, goes up to Curlew, cuts west on Curlew towards Belcher. You come south on Belcher to 580. I know, great district, right? Then you cut over basically to the beaches from 580.
Oh.
You go down through Clearwater Beach, Sand Key. You have Bel Air Shores. You have Bel Air Beach. You have Indian Rocks Beach. You cut across back over to the mainland. You have Bel Air Bluffs, town of Bel Air, and the majority of Clearwater. It's a great district.
Yes, it sure is.
That bothers me as an OCD person. So, why aren't they cut like more square or more? Why is it so?
So I think what you have to remember with the districts, one of the things they try and do in accordance with some of the rulings that have taken place is they try and keep your municipalities in a total district.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that means because of the number that we're limited based on the census that takes place every 10 years, they try and divide it up equally into those districts. To do that, sometimes it means you have to create a unique line, we'll say, that keeps individuals like you and me looking at it like, what in the world?
Okay.
You look at the map of the United States, you have some really odd Idaho, for instance, and even Florida. You got that panhandle cutting across it, so I can understand that pretty much. You were born in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
But interestingly, your mom and dad were both Clearwater City Commissioners back when they called the council members commissioners.
Yes, sir.
Wow, you've got quite the heritage.
I tell people I have not only one of the best districts, I think, in the state of Florida, but I have one of the best communities to live in. When you think about it, Clearwater is unique from the standpoint that it is small enough you can know people. It is large enough you can get lost. It is accessible enough that you can get to a major metropolitan type of area by going across a bridge. So it really gives you the best of everything, so to speak, in the community.
No doubt about that. No doubt about it.
And I noticed that Kim is wearing her famous Florida gold necklace.
Yes, that's nice.
I love it.
My mother gave it to me, I think it was about a year before I chose to run second time for the House of Representatives. And when I chose to run, I joked with her about her foreshadowing that I didn't realize what she was politely trying to tell me. But
did they kind of push you into running being as though they also reps, or was that just something you just got in your own blood watching them?
No, I think one of the things that I think kind of translated because of how my parents chose to live their life was it was really about community service. It didn't matter if it was serving as an elected official, serving in the church, working in a nonprofit in the community. It was you were a part of community for a reason. You needed to give back to that community, and giving back was what actually gave joy. And so it's something that just has kind of transitioned for me.
That's the ultimate reason. Now, when you're not in the legislature,
yes,
what is it you do?
So actually, right at the moment, I am in the process of transitioning jobs. But a lot of my time has been spent around some form of business consulting tied to healthcare as well as insurance. So it's given me a broad base of knowledge.
I didn't know that state representative was not your job. So I learned something.
Well, it is her job. But
I know it's her job, but it's not her.
A lot of people don't realize
job.
It is considered a part-time job.
Okay.
We are paid a whopping $29,000 a year.
Wow.
To perform that job.
Yeah.
And that is part of why. I mean, if you think about it, it's technically $29,500, but that's federal poverty. You really have to have another job, especially to live in some of these districts.
You should get almost $30,000 just for having to live in Tallahassee part of the year.
Let's talk about our education.
Okay.
Yeah. So
kindergarten equivalency diploma, right?
Yes, I was fortunate. I graduated. I started with Clearwater High School, graduated as a tornado.
All right.
I tell people that was where I had a wonderful experience because I also had a great football team at the time. That kind of decreased as I went through my educational career, but I went to the University of Central Florida, received my bachelor's degree there in mass communications, and then went on to obtain my MBA actually from Northeastern. And a focus predominantly in healthcare administration.
Okay. And I have a question. Between your stints in the state representative, right? What did you do?
So I actually, when I left the legislature the first time, I was asked to serve as the deputy secretary for the Florida Department of Health. I served there for 6 years. Was one of the longest deputy secretaries. When I originally was asked to take the job, I said, I really think this is a bad idea. I don't think I'm going to be the type of bureaucrat you want me to be. And they said, that's part of why we'd like you to go there. And the lady who was coming in as the secretary was being sworn in as the first state surgeon general.
Nice.
And so they wanted to make sure she had some support, who knew and appreciated the legislative process and could help her be successful.
Good idea.
As she worked through it. So I went there and told them I'd give them 2 years. The next thing I knew, it was 6 years. And I said, I'm going home.
See, that's attractive to me, not your typical bureaucrat.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. So.
And I wasn't. I'll tell you, we had an interesting experience. The Florida legislature truly had a disdain for the Department of Health. They were frustrated because the individuals who were working there, not all of them, but some of them, really were taking their personal opinions, and they were using that to interpret things that the legislature
Mm.
had directed them to do.
Right.
And so some of the legislators said, we're not going to take that. And so they asked the Department of Health to do something that no other department in the history of Florida had been asked to do. And that was basically a self-review, evaluation, and justification of the department. So we went through every program area, every budget item, and had to explain why it should remain at the Department of Health, why it should go to a different department, or maybe why private industry could be doing it better than we could be doing it as well.
Okay,
Mhm.
so you have experience.
It was a great exercise to go through.
Okay, and you're running for re-election.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So explain how you qualify for an election.
So you can qualify in a couple different ways. The first way is you can collect petition cards. So to be qualified for a state representative seat, you have to collect 1,678 petition cards from your district. So it has to be individuals who are willing to complete a petition card that says your name may be placed on the ballot. It is not an endorsement. It doesn't say that you agree that you're going to vote for that individual. It just says, this person has asked me, I'm willing to let their name be put on the ballot and us to consider voting for them.
Right.
So,
it's not a commitment.
yes, exactly.
But that's not easy to get 1,600 signatures.
No, it is not.
That is a tough thing to do.
I know.
Yes.
What's the second way?
So the second way is you pay a filing fee.
Okay.
The filing fee is just a little bit over $1,700. So it's almost dollar for dollar, not quite, for each petition card. The easier way, of course, is to pay
Right.
if you have the money. I have always qualified by petition card because I think it's a good reflection that your community is interested in at least allowing you to have your name put on the ballot.
Right. And also true, to be totally political, if you get 1,600 people to sign a petition, when it comes time to voting, there's a good shot that you're going to get most, if not all, of those votes.
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with starting off with 1,000 plus votes.
It
makes
definitely
sense.
gives you an advantage.
That makes sense. Sure.
But like I said, it also isn't something that guarantees you that.
Of course.
So you have to make sure that you work, whether it's walking precincts, going to different events, responding to people, and being conscientious of what that job actually entails.
Are you doing door to door as well?
We are doing door to door. We'll be walking this Saturday. I don't know exactly what area we're going to target, but we go to the door. We ask people to sign petition cards, explain to them the process. And I have to be honest, we haven't had anybody who has slammed a door in anybody's face.
Well, that's good.
That you would think in this environment
Yeah.
that would not be something unusual, but it has been, and I hope it continues to be the experience.
Absolutely.
Now, also,
Folks are walking.
you try to sell them cookware at the same time, right?
Encyclopedias. Actually, we're going for
There
encyclopedias.
you go.
Okay.
I actually did that during my college semesters way back
Wow.
then.
I
Bless your
just want
heart.
to mention that the last day to get the petition cards in is June 14th.
Actually, the petition cards are earlier. So
Okay.
petition cards I have to turn them in by May 14th, next Monday,
Oh,
Oh, boy.
or 13th, I'm sorry, May 13th. I may be off a day, but by noon on next Monday.
Oh, no.
And then qualifying, the other part of qualifying is where you have to turn in certain forms that reflect your financial disclosure information,
okay.
show that you're making a commitment to this position, as well as the principles that you're going to be standing for. And those documents have to all be turned in, to your point, by June 14th.
And you have to turn in more petitions because some may not
Yes.
qualify.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people leave off, or the address isn't correct, or the name
Signature.
is.
Well,
whatever.
the signature actually has been something I was talking with Senator Hooper, and they found as they went through their last attempt, there were a number that were kicked out because the signature was close, but not
Oh,
quite the same.
wow.
And so,
That's
your
interesting.
supervisors are really trying to make sure that they adhere to that law and that they're upholding it, and that elections are being carried
Well,
out.
that's good
So-
too. But at
Yes.
the same time,
You have to
people
make.
sometimes people are kind of in a hurry,
Yeah.
and their signature isn't quite the same. Is it?
Well, and I think about my signature.
Yeah.
I registered when I was in high school, so
Yeah.
my signature is from when I was in high school. It's changed over the years,
Yeah,
not because of being in a rush or anything,
Yeah.
just because there's a fluidity sometimes that will come with that signature as you've
Exactly.
done it over so many years.
So what should you do? I'm not sure if my middle name is on my voter ID or my middle initial. That has to match exactly.
That has to match. So what we encourage people to do is either look at their driver's license, because normally it'll match your driver's license.
Okay.
Or to do it the way your driver's license is, or to look at their actual voter ID card.
Okay, this is good to know. I'm glad we brought that.
That's great.
Okay,
And-
well, I want to ask you, if somebody wanted to sign a petition card for you, will you be at any event between now and May 13th?
So I'm
Sorry.
No,
Put you on the spot.
I'm trying to think of the calendar right off the top of my head. We're going to be at a couple of different community events,
Okay.
but I would probably say they're around fallen officers. So I would probably say that's not the best place for us to do something like that. We want to
Right.
make sure we take the time to properly recognize and honor those men and women
Sure.
who have passed in the line of duty.
Okay.
So those are probably the big events. I would tell somebody they can go to hello@KimberlyBurfield.com, shoot me an email, and we can make sure to either get them a card or to circle around with them to pick them up.
And that's Burfield, BERFIELD.
Yes, sir.
And is it just, so it would be again, hello at
Kimberly,
Kimberly,
KIMBERLY, Burfield, BERFIELD.com.
very good.
Perfect. I'm going to do that. So,
Very good. Excellent. And you don't have to just be a Republican or a Democrat or anything. It's just anyone can sign it.
Anyone can sign it as long as you live in District 58.
Right.
And it does, the card will show that I am a Republican, but that does not prohibit. We've had Republicans, Democrats, as well as MPAs who have been
I
gracious
see.
enough to sign those cards for us.
That's very good. And of course, you have to be a registered voter.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
At least 18 or what have you.
and you need to do that right away because if
Yeah.
the cards need to be turned in on May 13th, next Monday, you need that card.
We
Now-
are hurrying along.
Why would somebody want to vote for you? What is it you bring to the table?
So I think something unique that I bring to the table is, as you mentioned, is the variety of my background. Whether you are talking about private industry, public industry, nonprofit, or government, I've had a variety of experiences throughout all of those areas. And so as we look at different issues, especially some of the more challenging ones that face the state, I bring a very different experience or perspective to the table as we have those conversations.
That's important.
And
Very
so
important.
I think it's something unique from that standpoint. And as you mentioned, I'm pretty much a hometown girl. So this is the place I love. This is the place I want to preserve and make sure is here and wonderful for generations to come.
That's a noble reason to want to run, for sure. And how you can best serve your district and constituents. Now, you said the next session begins in November.
Correct.
So what do the sessions run?
So what'll happen is in November, we'll go through the election process. We do what's called organizing the House. So a new Speaker of the House will be appointed at
I
that
see.
point in time in Tallahassee. And then we'll start committee meetings. Those committee meetings will run December, January, and February. And then on the first Tuesday in March 2025, our legislative session will start and run for 90 days. And we will do as much work as we possibly can during that time period. The only thing we are required to do is actually a budget. A lot of people don't realize that. They think we go up there and there's a number of things we are responsible for tackling. But that is the one thing that the Constitution of the state of Florida tells us as the legislature we must complete is a balanced budget on an annual basis.
Okay, very
See, I
interesting.
learned something there
Yeah.
right there. I thought you had to do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay.
Well, you do, but that's one
We
of the
do.
main
Well,
things.
I know they do,
Yeah.
but they don't have to.
You've met Governor Ron DeSantis. What's your
Yes.
impression of him?
I have had very pleasant interactions with him. They're traditionally around bill signings or legislation that's being worked on. So from that standpoint, I would tell people that I think he does care about our community and he does care about the state. And he's really trying to make sure that we're heading in the right direction.
Very good. Very, very good. All righty. Well, Kel, it's about time to wrap things up. But before we do, we'd like Kim again to express your contact information for those listening who would like to get in touch.
Great. So you can contact me at hello, HELLO,
Right?
at Kimberly, KIMBERLY, Burfield, BERFIELD.com.
And there's no dot between Kimberly or Burfield.
Nope.
Okay.
It all runs together. We made it as simple
One
as
dot.
possible.
Okay.
Okay. That's really super. Well,
Okay.
Kel, it's time to wrap things up. Let's thank our guests.
Our guests today were Dr. Viviana Zuluaga Ramirez from Animal Healthcare Clinic in Clearwater, and also State Representative Kim Burfield from the 58th District.
Very good. Very good. And do you have a verse this week?
I do. It's about animals. Job 35:11. Who teaches us more than he teaches the beasts of the earth and makes us wiser than the birds in the sky?
Very nice. And also remember this, don't go looking for happiness, take it with you. And in behalf of Kelly and Kim and Ed, this is Doug saying, have a great week, and we look forward to having you with us again next week.
The award-winning Kelly Show on the Tan Talk Radio Network.